Imagine a world where it's Sears Prime instead of Amazon. Let's talk about it.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Graham, and today's video is something that I've been working on for a while, just kind of thinking about how to do it, because I have a lot of great memories about it, but at the same time, a lot of frustrations that go along with that, and regarding Sears. So those of you that grew up, I'm not going to go into the history. They've been around for over 100 years, but in the 70s and 80s, Sears was the place, right? As a kid, I loved going there. When my stepdad would take me, of course, he would always go to the tool section. I would always peruse the electronics section and, of course, the toys, and just loved being there. And it was just a great time. And I saw a video on YouTube a couple months ago where they broke down the history of Sears and kind of their demise, what happened, a lot of the bonehead mistakes that they made, especially considering that they were such an innovative company for so many decades. Learned a lot from that video that I didn't really know about, so then I decided to go ahead and research a little bit further. And I tell you what, it's like that old Get Smart show, you know, they missed it by that much, right? They were right there, and they just completely blew the opportunity to still be open right now. So for those of you that don't know, Sears wasn't just Sears. They had started companies like, and check my notes here, Coldwell Banker, which is a real estate company, Allstate, which I didn't know that, the insurance company, of course, Craftsman Tools, Die Hard Batteries, Kenmore, and another one I didn't know about was Discover Card. So they're the ones that actually created that. If they didn't exactly create it, they bought a company and then merged it in with Sears. So some of them they did create, others they just bought other companies and then brought them under the Sears umbrella. And so they were a very innovative company for decades. And then, of course, growing up in the 70s and 80s, what we were always excited about was the Sears catalog, right? We get this big fat catalog, especially around Christmas time, and we'd flip through the pages. As a kid, we would flip through the pages. I would go to the toy section and immediately dog ear some of the pages to see, for my mom to see what we wanted for Christmas. And then when mom wasn't around, like I'm pretty sure most boys in the 80s, we would look over our shoulders and then immediately turn to the women's underwear section to see what they had in there. You know, hey, it's a thing we did. I'm not ashamed to admit it. So there you go. You know you did, whether you want to admit it or not. So I started doing some correlations of that. So the Sears catalog was something that had been around for decades. So essentially, Sears had call centers and had these massive warehouses located in strategic areas throughout the United States, to where people would be able to call in. And what I'm not too sure about is I don't recall ever getting a Sears package to our house, so I don't think it was sophisticated like that at the point in time where the items would be shipped directly to your house. I think they may have been shipped to your local Sears and then you would go pick them up. Drop a comment below if you know the answer to that. Could you receive stuff at your home? Because I know FedEx and UPS weren't that big back then. Would have been the Postal Service, which I don't know if they would have been able to deliver like they do today on some big packages. But essentially, they had these massive warehouses all over the United States, and I'm talking massive warehouses, to where they would pull the product from there and then they would ship it out. So they had them in place already. The big catalog was, of course, the Christmas catalog that we all loved, and it was they called it the Wish Book. And that was just like what every kid waited for. Again, we would dog ear them, give them to our parents and say, this is what we want, whether we got it or not. That's what we would use most of the time. If not that, we would use the advertisements from the Sunday paper and do the same thing. But when I started researching this, I didn't realize that the Sears catalog division had upwards of 50,000 employees at one time. Just a massive operation. And you know, I don't know who, what, and when, what CEO came into business. I'm pretty sure it had a lot to do with the shareholders, as it always does, because they try to make a profit always turning a profit for the shareholders, and probably made some really stupid decisions. January 25th of 1993, Sears stopped the big book catalog, is what they called it, and then they just started doing the Christmas book. So in 1993, they laid off, I wouldn't say all 50,000 people, because they still had some warehouses to ship product from, but essentially shut down that division. And then over the years started to just demolish them and tear them down. So in 1993, they stopped that. Well, guess who in 1994 opened up? Amazon. He wasn't online until 1995 and sold his first book on the Amazon platform. Now, the first website was already around since 1991, and the first e-commerce site was in 1992, and it happened to be a bookstore as well. But it wasn't until 1998, Sears finally creates a website for wishbook.com, which was their Christmas catalog that they had. So in 1998, so Amazon started in 94, sold its first book in 1995. Sears had already shut down 2 years previous all of their catalog, most of their catalog business, got rid of their big book catalog, started demolishing their warehouses that stored all of that. And then it took them until 1998, Sears finally got a website.
You gotta be kidding. Who do you think we are, baggage handlers?
But it was wishbook.com. And it wasn't until a year later that they finally got Sears.com. So 4 to 5 years after Amazon had already been online selling, Sears finally got their website. It's just mind-boggling. It's like watching an episode of Fringe where you're in a parallel universe, and seeing that a company such as Sears was just such an amazing company, and yet when the internet came along, I don't know what they did. They didn't know, I guess, what to do or how to handle it. Maybe they had leadership that just didn't think that it was going to be a viable thing. But the fact that they wait 4 to 5 years after Amazon had already started selling online, when they were already in place. That's what I said, like, we know Amazon Prime. Well, what about Sears Prime? They were already set up. They had warehouses all throughout the US. They had 50,000 employees that were able to pull a product and then ship it, which I think, to a local Sears for you to go and pick it up. They already had all of the infrastructure in place. So it's just mind-boggling that they shut down. The internet had already come out a couple years before. 2 years later, they shut down their catalog business and didn't have enough forward thinking to think that at some point in time you were going to be able to sell that. They had, when their catalog business was open, it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can pick up the phone and you can call in an order from the catalog.
Do without his elves? The Sears Wish Book. Just make a list, check it twice, then call 1-800-366-3000. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every order is backed by Sears, and Sears delivers anywhere. Of course, the elves would never leave Santa holding the bag. But it's nice to know he has a backup plan.
Just absolutely mind-boggling to think that they did that. But then, as I said, growing up as a kid, I would love to go through there and just walk around. Again, my dad would go to the Craftsman, my stepdad would go to the Craftsman aisle and wind up looking at the newest tools. I would go to the electronics, of course, the toy section. And of course, they were always attached to a mall, so we wouldn't go just to Sears. We would go around the mall and just have a good day at it. But again, watching the commercials growing up, the Christmas commercials, the regular commercials that they had for Sears, it was just such a special time. So what were some memories that you had as a kid, as a child, or if you're one of the older Gen Xers, what are some memories you have as being a young parent at the time and going to Sears, or actually calling the 800 number to order. Let me know down below. If this is a video you like, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, share the channel or this video, and take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.